Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina for another Sunday night live stream show. That's right, y'all. It's Sunday night and it's here. It's time for that Sunday night live stream show. It is Sunday, January 15th. We're going to be talking all about fishing, answering your questions live, talking a little bit about what's going on, what's coming up, and showing you some photos of what's going on now and all the things we're looking forward to. So hopefully you're ready for another great show. Hopefully you're ready for a great Sunday night together here for an hour. And then the supporters after show if you're a supporter. Want to start off by first giving a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't checked them out yet, make sure you do and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. You'll get a free gift. Really cool people over there. Great selection, killer deals. Check out Gator Jim's on your next visit to South St. Pete. Also, want to give a shout out to all of those who have sent stars. A lot of big star senders tonight. We had Larry White, Jeff Reedy, Richard Blazak, Rolando Kirk, Stephen Batchelor, Jasmine White, Ryan Kelly. We had Christine and Pete, Tim Harris, Ryan Kelly, Eric Seberg, Don Schuett, Adam Franklin, Todd Stutzman, Jasmine White. We had Stan Meeky, Kim Hutnick. Thank you all very much for sending stars. Super appreciated and just really helps us out a lot. Tim Harris with a big 1100 there. Thank you, Tim, and Ryan and Don. Thank you all for the support as well. And then, of course, the supporters, those of you in our private supporters group. None of this is possible without you guys, fishing friends and guests, and just all the great people who tune in and join us as well. So thank you all for being here and joining us for another Sunday night episode of our Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard live stream show. So also, don't forget, we're going to be giving away lots of free stuff tonight. We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests, a 10-hour all day for 2 guests, a 39-hour trip for 1 guest, and that Hubbard's Marina swag pack that Josh came up with. So make sure you stay tuned. In order to be eligible to win, you do have to comment 1 time. Anything you want, preferably you comment and let us know where you're watching from. Also, make sure you like the video and make sure that's on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. So like the video, comment once. Don't forget to share it for us as well if you can to your favorite fishing group, anytime, anybody's timeline, your own timeline, to your story, whatever you want to do. Help us spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe if you're all watching on YouTube, Trovo, Twitch. If you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, make sure you follow our pages. And also, with that, let's make sure you don't forget to comment and let us know where you're watching from. Like and share the post. And with that, we'll get rocking right into our photos. What's up, Lance Hall? Thanks for those stars, buddy. Big shout out to Lance and his better half. They came out fishing on the extreme trip, and Christina crushed it. And Lance did too with their brand new Shimano Talicas. I would have gone Daiwa, but hey, the Shimano's pulled it off. They got a lot of red grouper, and the red grouper bite's been fired up on that 12-hour extreme trip. But we're going to get into it, so I won't get ahead of myself. Let's get right into these photos and show you what we're catching. Scott Flynn, thanks for those stars, buddy. Inshore, been seeing some of those nice black drum. The black drum bite's been going well for us, especially early morning hours, sometimes late afternoon into dusk. But seemingly early morning, late day, that's when those black drum are moving around most. Upper Bay, around docks, mangrove shorelines, entrances to creeks, river mouths, big bridges, you can find those black drum. We've seen some nice red drum as well, or red fish, around our mangrove shorelines, our oyster bars, our grass flats, following those schools of mullet. We're seeing some snook still too, especially this past week. It started to warm up a little bit for us right before this last big blow, and there was actually some snook caught in Johns Pass, kind of like we do in the summertime, which was really strange, but definitely most of those fish have moved into the upper bay or back bay and really kind of hiding out, especially now behind that big old front. Those fish are retreating quickly, trying to stay as warm as possible because it's chilly. The water is chilly, and those snook want to try to stay as warm as possible. Scott Flynn, Tony Barnes, appreciate those stars. And, of course, Christina Hall with the big 1,200. Thank you so much. So another nice snook here as well. We also saw some really nice trout this week. The trout bite has been going pretty well. We saw them shallower grass flats, kind of those edges, potholes, cuts. We're seeing some trout around dock lights, bridge lights as well at night. So good opportunity to target those trout, those redfish, the snook. The sheep's head bite has been incredible around docks, piers, bridges, jetties, virtually any hard structure that's going to give an opportunity for that growth of barnacles, oysters, clams. You're going to have a good shot at those sheep's head. Speaking of fish that like crustaceans, we'll get right into nearshore and offshore with some hogfish. The hogfish bite has been going well for us near shore. We're seeing some nice hogfish on our 5 and 10 hour all day, 5 hour half day, 10 hour all day, and then of course the private fishing charters as well near shore. So the hogfish bite's going well near shore, and we're seeing them mostly on the live shrimp, the lighter tackle, the knocker rig, the ball jig. This is some nice red grouper from that extreme trip. We're seeing a lot of those keeper red grouper near shore on the hub 10-hour trips, but really doing well out there on the extreme trip. They're crushing them and really catching almost boat limits, if not full boat limits of those red grouper out there on the flying hub too. And this Tuesday we've got a light load. Last week, Wednesday, I think it was, we went out there with 7 people. This week, Tuesday, we've only got 8 people scheduled currently for that extreme trip. So super light load, great opportunity to go out there and crush the red grouper. We've been seeing some big mangroves, big vermilions, lots of good eating fish mixed in with those keeper red grouper too. So it's all about the red grouper out deep right now with big lanes and nice mangroves and porgies mixed in. Even near shore on the hub, we're seeing the red grouper too. So the gags have closed, but we still got plenty of fish to go out there and catch. These good eating scamp grouper, the big fat red grouper, the hogfish. It's all going well for us out there. So good time to get out in the water. A lot of people are like, well, grouper's closed. What am I going to catch? There's a lot of other grouper out there. Gag grouper are closed, yes, but that's one of many grouper that you could possibly catch. So don't be afraid. Don't fret. There's still plenty more fish to be had, and we're catching them up pretty good right now as well. So good opportunity to get out there Tuesday on the extreme trip. Some nice weather and light load for hopefully a big catch of those gag grouper. Now, with that, we're going to work our way into the weather, talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on weather-wise. So we're going to go back to the Hubbard's Marina website, and as we do, I want to give a shout-out to Jim Evans, Rich Fletcher, and John Neminsky for those stars. Thank you guys so much. John Fletcher, especially appreciate those 500 or 400 you sent there. Thank you so much. So we're going to pop over to the Hubbard's Marina website, hit fishing trips, scroll down, hit weather links. That's going to bring us to our weather links page here. The weather links page, we're going to go over to the side and click Wind Finder Forecast, 5 and 10 hour forecast area. And we're going to start there and show you guys kind of what's going on weather-wise. It's going to pick up a little bit midweek, but not too much. Looks like the best weather days this week really look like Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday it picks up a little bit. Thursday it's really blowing pretty good. Stays a little bumpy Friday. The rain chance gets up there. Then that rain chance persists through Saturday. Sunday the wind's up. It's Monday. So really the best weather days in the next period is going to be definitely Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully you'll have an opportunity to join us Monday or Tuesday for those great weather opportunities and hopefully some big fish as well. So we're going to go back to the Hubbard's Marina page and check out the extreme trip area. So moving a little deeper, and you can see here Tuesday's extreme trip, less than 2 foot seas, really nice calm conditions, a little bit of breeze, which is nice. That'll give us a good solid anchor heading, not completely flat calm, so it won't be too nice out there, but definitely by no means will it be bumpy or too bumpy to get out there. Really, even Monday looks good, but Monday's pretty close behind that front. So I'm glad we're going Tuesday. That'll give it a little bit more time. That extreme trip Tuesday is going to be a great opportunity. And like I said, only 8 people going right now, so tons of room around the boat and hopefully plenty of big fish as well. So good opportunities to go out there and catch them up with us here at Hubbard's Marina. So one thing we want to talk about here, Capt. Mike Anderson is going to give us a shout and talk a little more in depth about inshore fishing, so I didn't want to spend too much time on that. We kind of skipped over it a little bit. We do have lots of stuff to give away tonight, so we're going to try to get in a giveaway as well before he picks up. But one thing we want to talk over with you guys, Josh is going to drop a poll perhaps. Let's see if we could pull that off. Can we pull that off? I think we can pull that off. We're going to drop a poll in there. We're thinking about starting our live show moving forward at 7:30 instead of 8:30. So that would move the live show an hour earlier. And that's just in the name of trying to get more people an opportunity to join us for the show. Because I've heard a lot, 8:30 is a little late. People need to go to bed. They got work Monday morning. And we don't want to prohibit anybody from watching the show. And also, selfishly, I want a chance to go to bed a little earlier myself. So that is the idea behind potentially starting a little earlier. So we are going to drop a poll in the live show time. 7:30, is that good? Yes or no? We want to know. Yes or no? Let's see the responses. And next week, I think what we're going to do is probably start it at 7:30, but potentially maybe do a little longer show. So that way, if anybody pops in at 8:30, next week they won't really be too left out, but they will miss the majority of the show. So that way, it won't be too crazy. But we just activated the poll, so the poll is on the screen. Make sure you vote for us and let us know, yes or no. You want to move to 7:30? I think 7:30 is a good idea, but we'll see. We'll see. So far, it's 77 yes votes, 8 no votes. So those of you who are voting no, I'm wondering why. Why don't you want it to move to 7:30? Is it too early? I feel like 7:30 is late enough to where everybody's kind of wound down and available, but I don't know. Want to find out. So we're polling you guys. We also want to poll the supporters group because they're super important. They're a big part of our show as well. But wanted to make sure we involve the main show a little bit too and bring the subject up. Breach the subject. Poll the subject. So let's find out. 7:30, yes or no? What do you think? What do you want? So, yeah, poll's got 2 more minutes. It's open. So let us know on the poll there. Also, want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over at Take a Vet Fishing. Take a Vet Fishing is coming out Tuesday. They're going to be coming out Tuesday afternoon, and really, really excited for them to come out and join us. They're going to be doing a big event and take out a bunch of people fishing. Veterans fishing Tuesday afternoon, absolutely free. They're going to bring them to the VFW at Johns Pass. They're going to give them breakfast and food free. And then after that, they're going to take them over and go fishing with us absolutely free again. So veterans are able to sign up, takeavetfishing.org, I believe, takeavetfishing.org. And you'll be able to, they've been out at Seafood Fest all week and long. Was I right? I guess right. Yep. Takeavetfishing.org. It's actually kind of like a nationwide group, and they do a lot of stuff up north. They've partnered with a bunch of people. They have some really cool stuff going with Discovery Channel. They're actually going to come on our live show. They were talking about maybe coming tonight, but I wanted to plan it out a little bit better, so I told them let's wait. So probably in April, they have another one of these Take a Vet fishing events scheduled with us then. We'll probably have them on our show as well. So going to be pretty cool. We're excited to see them and have them join us. And, of course, always great to have the vets out fishing and kind of help support them in that fashion. So let's see what is going on inshore. Our good buddy Capt Mike Anderson just gave us a shout, so let's see what's going on with him. We'll get this audio switched over here, and we'll give a shout to Capt Mike. Now, the reason he's calling, guys, is he's finally off vacation. He was, like, hunting. He went up to Wisconsin. He's been sitting on the couch rubbing his belly watching football. So it's nice to have you join us, Capt Mike.
I'm happy to be here, my friend. Thank you for it's a slight jab there. I dig it.
It wasn't slight. It wasn't meant to be.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Well, how are things, man? I know you were getting back out on the water this week. We didn't really talk about it Saturday. We had such a good guest on our radio show. If you guys aren't watching the Saturday morning radio show from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on our Hubbard's Marina and Real Animals Facebook pages, or listening to us on the radio, 970 WFLA, you're missing out. But we had a great time Saturday talking a little bit about Abyss batteries with a really cool guest. I mean, I think after the show, I had a great conversation with him, too, about sharks. We didn't leave.
Yeah.
You left and went to the gym. We sat in the parking lot and talked longer about guns. Cool guy.
Yeah, he's a neat cat for sure. And you know, this whole lithium battery thing is just, it's taking off. And I shared a post of theirs today and had some comments on the Real Animals Facebook page about the great service, you know, guys buying batteries from them and then calling back weeks later and just getting incredible in-depth over the phone help, answering questions, you know, working them through situations. So, really, really excited to have Abyss battery as part of our sponsorship and partner group, and working with them and sending people to the right place as we kind of transition into this lithium battery craze.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely a great company and good people. And so did you get out in the water this weekend or this week? Or I know it was nice weather now that you're on the backside of everything going on.
The weather was good, and I've been a little tied up in meetings and all kinds of stuff. I was supposed to fish this week coming up in Crystal River, and it's not looking good. Looks like we're still going to have a little bit of wind on Tuesday. I was supposed to do a blasting cast on Wednesday, and the duck hunting's been tough. I heard the fishing up that way was really, really tough today. You know, talked to a couple guys, caught just a few trout, and that was it. The water temps are really, really down, as you can imagine. You know, imagine the water temp here in the bay is, you know, floating around 60 degrees. And then, you know, if you drive an hour and a half north, it's going to be even lower than that. So it's got things a little boogered up, at least a little challenging to say the least. So, again, I talked about this morning on the T. Mahoney Company Real Animals radio show, and really kind of impressed with the guys. You know, they had that Power Pole Go Live redfish tournament Saturday, which in those windy conditions, God bless those guys. I think there was 74 or 84 boats, something like that fished in it. And I looked at the score sheet. A lot of teams caught fish now, and I heard a lot of the winning fish came from way north, like up towards Steenhatchee. And imagine how cold that water temp is. So
was that a day of the tournament and they had to start fishing early? Like, did they run all the way up the coast in that cold weather?
No, it's called the Power Pro Go Live.
Oh, okay.
And so you can fish anywhere on the west coast of Florida. And when you catch a fish, you go live.
Oh,
you do your weigh-in. Yeah, they do the weigh-in live, which to me is really a unique, interesting thing that Ken Hickman has put together there with the help of Power Pole. You know, being able to not have to transport those fish.
Yeah.
Get them on your boat, get a quick weight, get them released, a lot less pressure on those fish, you know, versus putting them in the live well and having to be in the live well maybe all day long and then making a long run back. relocating those fish. You're putting them right back into that same school, that same estuary that they've been in. So
that's cool.
I think it's a really quality, conservation-minded event. And I was impressed with the amount of fish caught. So I fished the Pro Redfish Tournament Trail for 10 years. And anytime you're fishing against the best of the best in the country, it's a challenge. But it seems like that group of anglers just keeps getting better and better and better. I don't remember too many tournaments, us trying to do a redfish tournament in January. When I heard there was going to be one in January, I thought, oof, God, what a terrible month to try to, and let's just take the weather out of the picture. Yeah. If you're just talking about the redfish bite in general, it can be a little challenging this month again, just because of the fronts, because of the water gets dirty. And, our fish here on the west coast of Florida, especially redfish, like a little bit cleaner water. They're used to that water being clean so they can see predators and see their prey and all that stuff. So when the water gets dirty, these fish get a little stingy. So, for those guys, what's that?
If you were fishing the tournament, where would you look for redfish in Tampa Bay when the water's dirty and cold?
I would have fished docks.
Docks?
I would have fished docks, yeah. Some of my best red fishing this time of year is done on dock lines with shrimp. I would have fished gulp. If I was in the tournament, I probably would have fished gulp shrimp, just sitting it on the bottom, dead sticking it, we call it, underneath, docks with moving water, preferably docks that are getting some kind of sun, to try to heat those water temps up just a degree or two. Anywhere you can find mullet this time of year is a bonus as well. Dark mud bottom areas, some of the stuff back inside a cockroach will hold some fish. There's areas all over the bay. A lot of stuff up on the north end of Tampa Bay will hold some fish up towards Safety Harbor, and that, again, dark mud bottom that kind of heats up a little bit can be really, really, productive. So, again, super challenging with these conditions, but I know that's kind of been a hot bite. The redfish bite's been hot. We get a big push this time of year of rat reds, fish from 16 to 22 inches. Mm-hmm. And on any given day, you could run onto a dock line somewhere and catch 30, 40, 50 of them, all the same size, all cookie cutters, and it gets interesting because I've run charters where I was catching them really good day in, day out, steady diet of small redfish, and tell the customers, yeah, we're going to go back here on this dock line, catch some redfish, and roll in there and not catch a single redfish, but absolutely crush the sheepshead. Wow. And it'll switch on you overnight. Usually around the moon phases, when you get a big push of water in and out, all of a sudden just a big herd of big sheepies will move in, and I don't know if it just pushes the redfish out of there or what the deal is, but I've seen it just switch overnight. I've also done it where we've caught them both on the same dock line pretty good. You'll catch 2 or 3 redfish in a row, and then you'll catch a couple of sheepshead in a row, and then a sheephead and then a redfish, and then 2 redfish, 2 sheephead. It's just kind of crazy. Nice. So, and the same tactics. Wow. Just live shrimp. I usually tail hook live shrimp on either a 1/4 ounce jig head or just a 1/4 ounce egg sinker, kind of knocker rigged, and just pitching it up underneath the docks and letting it sit.
So when you say tail hook, here's a good one for you. And I always like asking people this. When you tail hook a shrimp, is it from one side out the other, or is it from underneath the tail out the top?
I go from underneath out the top.
I thought that was like the way to do it. But now more and more I see people going from one side to the other. And I don't know. I feel like everybody has their own way.
What do you think the advantage would be from side to side?
I saw Salt Strong did a video about it, and they said the presentation is better. But to me, it makes a lot of sense that it would kind of go from the bottom out the top, because it's kind of more of a natural movement for the shrimp.
100%.
Especially when it's weighted.
I don't know that I agree with the natural presentation. I think you're going to pitch that.
What they were doing is they were illustrating that with a bare hook, no weight. So I think if you put a jig head on it, you kind of have to go from the bottom of the tail out the top. But,
yeah, I would think it would be either way. And to me, that's the key, especially for sheepshead, because what happens is that live shrimp will sit on the bottom with that jig head, and his little feet will be just going crazy in that sand, and that's what kind of draws their attention. they see that activity down there in the sand and got to come over there and take a look at it and see what kind of crustacean appetizer deal is going on over there, whether it's a little crab or a little shrimp. They get over there, find out it's a big old shrimp, and the next thing you know, you got a fish on.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just, and again, that's just how I've always done it. I'm sure, if you're in a dock line with a pile of fish, you can probably catch them either way.
Are you using jig heads with a J hook or a circle hook?
When I use jig heads, I use jig heads with a J hook.
Okay.
And when I do the egg sinker, I use circle hooks, just because I haven't found a great jig head circle hook combination.
Yeah, there's not many.
If I did find one, maybe I would do it different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really why I've actually gone over the years here. I've switched a little bit more to the egg sinker and the circle hook.
Yeah,
because it's a little better. Although normally, even with the jig heads, I'll tell you a little secret. Gamakatsu makes a football-headed jig head. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I wish I could, but I literally found them several years back. I was on the Gamakatsu team, and they had them in the catalog, and I had a certain amount every year I could order. So I ordered some of these jig heads, and they come with a 1/0 and a 2/0 hook on.
Oh, nice.
So they come with really small hooks. And they really, really, really work good. As a matter of fact, last time I was up in Jacksonville filming with Steven Crowder, we were doing sheephead on the jetty.
Yeah.
And he brought a big bag the first afternoon that he bought at a local tackle store up there. He bought like 50 of them in a bag. And I'm like, dude, I got to have some of these. And he was like, yeah, no problem, dude. I'll ship you some down. And he shipped me like 2 bags, and that's what they are. They pour their own at this tackle store, and they're on really small hooks.
Nice.
And that's the key. If you take a Strike King jig head, one of their phenomenal, I think one of the better jig heads on the market. It's got a big, sturdy, kind of wide gap hook on it. If you use that hook, that jig head, it's just not as effective, because with the shrimp and the sheep's head, you really need that smaller hook.
Yeah.
It's just more effective. So, that's really the key. The jig head, I say jig head, but a jig head with a small hook, if you can find it, is kind of paramount to more hookups.
All right, so dock line fishing, jig heads with a small hook, or using a circle hook with a 1/4 ounce egg sinker rig, knocker rig style.
Yeah, that's going to be your best. That's going to be your best bet this time of year. I'm not a strong DOA guy anymore, but the DOA shrimp is just one of those baits that if you can work that bait slow enough, it's a phenomenal bait this time of year. Because again, a lot of our fish are on a crustacean feed, but it's as you can kind of tell from my personality now, spending so much time with me, I'm not a real good finesse fisherman. That's not my.
You don't have the patience for a DOA shrimp.
No. I'm a power fisherman. I'm covering water and praying, and it's not a good thing to do. If I just do. I've done it. I've caught fish doing it. I know they work, but it just drives me bonkers. So I like to power fish a little more than that. So one of them deals. Lots of black drum around right now too. That little black drum bite's really kind of fired off. Yeah.
Little black drums, even big ones. We're seeing that around the pass too, especially early mornings. You'll be standing on the dock talking to someone, and I'll just trail off in conversation because I'm staring at this huge black drum cruising by. It's nuts. It's hard to do seminars because when I go to look one way, I have a perfect view of that sandy bottom right by the catwalk. It's like 4 feet deep, and you just see these monster submarine black drums cruising by when I'm trying to talk. And I don't get distracted much, but nice big old
This is the time of year. Yeah, this is the time of year that big schools show up on the flats inside the Skyway.
Yeah.
And it can get pretty interesting when those big schools show up. So it's usually February, but I've seen them as early as January and as late as March. But when they show up, it's really impressive. You catch 15 to 25 pound black drum on the flat. It's pretty awesome. So, and then a lot of
Joe Island area.
No, inside like by the Clam Bar.
Oh, I got you.
They come in Paso Grill a lot. I mean, they probably come in there. You may find them over there too, but because I run out of O'Neill so much, it's usually when I'm up in the tower and I'll be running around somewhere and you just run over an acre of them and go, whoop, there's the big boys.
Wow.
The bombers are here. So, yeah, and they're fun. They're fun to catch for, all ages. We've had a lot of great days on them. The problem is you got to find them early. If you find them late, then you show up there one morning and there'll be, 15 boats on them, running them over and pushing them down, and then it doesn't work so good.
Yeah.
Guys aren't patient enough for that. So you find once it finds them, then I'll have a day or two on them, and then they're usually gone. So or I just give up on them because there's too many people on them.
I got you. Well, we appreciate it, man, and we appreciate all the insight, and look forward to this weekend talking to you some more and chatting again.
Yes, sir. Don't forget the St. Pete Boat Show Thursday. I'll be in the contender booth. I think it's booth 214 to 218, and I will be there like noon to 3, noon to 4 on Thursday. If you're out that way, come by the
stop
booth
by and
hello.
see Capt Mike and I's new contender 44 ST sitting there in the booth for us.
There you go. I like it.
Maybe one day.
If I can get the monthly bill sent to Hubbard's Marina, you're in, dude. I'll order one.
Well, I mean, imagine how much cooler your show would be. I mean, I
couldn't agree more. I 100% agree with you. Like I said, I'm all in, dude. I'm all
you,
in,
me, Mahoney, we'd be cruising that 44, catching wahoo. Ben Marshall could come sometimes, I'm sure. He knows how to rig for those marlin. I mean, we're in there like swimwear.
We're gonna need another couple partners, I think, if we're gonna pull that boat off.
Just think of the TV. Contenders should be willing. The TV alone.
Well, they're willing. They're willing to give us one at a certain price. There's no doubt.
Exactly.
It's all good. We appreciate you, brother. Have a great night and keep up the good work, kid. I'll talk to you this week.
All right, brother. See you, man. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Be good. See you.
Well, we're gonna keep working on that whole contender 44 ST. I think it's like $750,000 or maybe 1.1 million, somewhere around there. It's chump change. Yeah. They're definitely not doing those type of sponsorships. I don't know anybody who is, but we'll find out one day. Adrian Gasol, Nick Nieves with 1,200 stars. Appreciate you, buddy. Adrian Gasol, Christine Tegwin, appreciate y'all with those stars while we were on the phone there with Capt Mike. Let's go ahead and do our first giveaway of the night. Remember, we got a 5-hour half day for 2, 10-hour all day for 2 people. We've got the Hubbard's Marina swag pack and that 39-hour to give away. So let's do our first giveaway of the night. Let's do the 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. The winner is Casey Fertig. Congratulations, Casey. You've got 5 minutes or less to do the text. You got to text us at the phone number on the screen your full home address within 5 minutes to prove you're watching live and to claim that free trip. So make sure you got 5 minutes or less to claim that 10-hour all-day trip for 2 by texting us your full home address to the phone number on the screen. So let's see here. First question of the night. Are sheep's head only near docks, or have you ever pulled one on any small trips? Sometimes behind cold fronts we'll find those sheep's head on our half-day fishing trips, but it's not something we really target or could say with any confidence we catch often out there. So I would always suggest, if you want to target sheep's head, you want to really go after sheep's head, I would suggest always that you would do that on the docks, the piers, the bridges, the jetty around Johns Pass, going over to the south side of Johns Pass, underneath the bridge there, or at the very southeast side of Johns Pass, right there at Kingfish Park. I think that's called Kingfish Park. Like if you're looking at Krabby Bill's, what used to be Gators, and you look to the right, at the very end, there's some like benches and a little rocky point. You can go down there. That's a little park. That's a good fishing area. that I would suggest potentially going out to try to catch them as well. So you never know where the best is going to be, but I would always suggest going out there and targeting sheep's head from any sort of dock. Even seawalls, some seawalls will generally carry quite a bit of sheep's head as well. So lots of good opportunities to get out there, but I would say sheep's head, yes, is definitely going to be more of a dock, pier, bridge, jetty fish, not so much one of our half-day fishing trips. Is Amberjack open in May? Fish Rules app says it is. So one thing that you can't always count on are these emergency rules. Emergency rules kind of override the season. So the season for Amberjack should be open in May, but it is not. So we're not expecting the season to be open in May. So right on our website at hubbardsmarina.com under fishing trips, we actually have the fishing rules and regulations page. So Josh is going to show you here real quick under fishing trips, more info than fishing rules and regulations. And that's actually going to take you right to this page where you can download the Fish Rules app or view it on the website. And Gulf of Mexico federal waters, perfect. We're going to look at Amberjack. We're going to look at seasons. So it is supposed to be open there, let's see, September and October for 2023. Yeah, these definitely need to be updated because this is very confusing. So May, so it shows that it should be open May, and then September, October, November, and December, which is totally wrong. So I'll email them and make sure they update this. I believe, it's just September and October in 2023. So they definitely need to update that. And I'm sure that's probably something they're going to be finalizing at this upcoming meeting because it's an emergency rule, and that might be why what's kind of messing with that season announcement on the Fish Rules app. But no Amberjack in May this year, unfortunately. So yeah, that's not an option for us. Let's see what our next question is. Let's see here. Do I ever run any of the trips? Sometimes I do, not as much as I would like, unfortunately. Staying busy doing things like our radio show, our TV show, and doing operations. I don't get to go out fishing as much as I would like. When I do get to go out on the boat, most of the time I try to make a habit of just going out and fun fishing, especially on these slow pitch jig fishing trips. I enjoy fishing as well. So really, really good time to just get out there and unwind a little bit. So I try to make it out there as much as I can. And when I do, most of the time I'm just unwinding and hanging out with you guys and fishing. So I don't really captain the boats as much as I would like or very much often because everything going on at the office. Just wondering what kind of fish we can expect to catch on a 5-hour trip in late March. Late March, you're going to be seeing lots of those hogfish, lane snapper, mangrove snapper. We're going to see porgies, the Gulf perch or sand perch, plenty of gray snapper or white grunts. Really, the 5-hour half-day trip, it's all year it's the same. The white grunts or gray snapper, the porgies, maybe some black sea bass, maybe some Gulf perch or sand perch or squirrelfish, and then you have a chance for some of the hogfish. And the hogfish definitely bite best around October through around April-ish. Cooler months, hogfish bite best. But really, the gray snapper, white grunts, porgies, sea bass, that's essentially what you're going after on those 5-hour half-day trips for the most part. That's what we're catching most frequently. Let's see, what other questions do we have? What's going on with the 10-hour booking? What's going on with booking 10-hour trip online? The 10-hour trip right now is on the Hub. It's on our smaller private charter boat. So it's a little bit unique, and because of that, it has a little lighter load, little lower capacity. So the 10-hour all-day trip, unfortunately, from what I'm seeing right here, the first availability with any sort of room to book isn't until the very end of the month because of the low capacity. So we're only able to take 14 people on the hub, and because of that, it fills up quickly. We should be out of dry dock earlier than expected. Right now, the projection is around early February, late January. So if we're able to get out of dry dock early, we'll have the friendly fishermen back to run in those 10-hour trips quicker, and we should be able to get those 10-hour availabilities and the number of people up quite a bit. We might even have Captain Frank on the show here soon. I know Captain James wants to join the show as well. So we might have some of those guys back in rotation talking a little bit about the trips and what's coming up. So we might sprinkle in a few guests here and there coming up in the coming weeks as well, kind of freshen things up and talk about what's to come, because this is an exciting time of year. We're on the precipice of our spring break and spring fishery, and things kind of changing for the better, so we're excited as well. Let's see, our next question. Is it harder to catch fish when temperatures are low, 30, 40, 50 degrees, compared to warmer temperatures? Yes and no. So air temperature really doesn't have much of an effect on the fish, but you got to remember, in the state of Florida, it does not get cold without a cold front. A cold front is a low pressure. A low pressure is a big storm event. It stirs up the water. It drops the water temperature. It really mixes things up. Plus, we get higher wind and higher seas, and it really just gets things going pretty heavily around the area. So those low pressure systems have a big effect on the fish, and we generally see the fish bite really well leading up till a front, and then behind a front, it takes a few days for that wind to calm down, those seas to calm down, the water to clear back up, and then once the water clears back up, that's when those fish really start to pick up, and we start to see that bite really get hot again. So the cold air temperatures don't make it harder to catch fish, but what makes it hard to catch fish are cold fronts battering the area, making that weather a little bit nasty for us, and definitely scaring those fish. Think about like a hurricane's coming. What do? We all take shelter, right? We all hunker down in our house, make sure we have plenty of booze and hurricane supplies, hurricane snacks, and then we hunker down. And it's the same thing for fish. Fish know a big storm's coming, a hurricane, a tropical storm, a cold front. They're all low pressure systems. It's all the same thing to a fish. So those fish know they're coming. They can sense the storm coming because they have a barometer on the side of their bodies. That lateral line is a barometer, so they know the bad weather is coming. So what do? They go out and get their hurricane snacks, and they gorge themselves and eat heavily ahead of a front, trying to make sure they have plenty of food in their bellies so they can go and hide up in the rocks, in the big artificial reefs, the big structures, and they hide out and take shelter from the storm. And then behind the storm, as soon as the water calms down, the wind calms down, that water starts to clear up, the fish come out of those rocks extremely hungry because they haven't been eaten for a period of time. So today was a little bit slow near shore on our half-day trip, and I kind of expected it. We had really, really rough weather Friday. It was like 7 to 9 foot at Egmont Key Friday. Then it calmed down Saturday. It was a little bit nicer. The wind was calming down. The seas were calming down, but not much. Then today we were able to get out there. It was only about 3.5 foot. It calmed down to about 2.5 foot, but the water had not cleared up. The wind had calmed down, the seas had calmed down, but the water was still milk brown because it was a strong front. We had bad weather. So fishing was really tough this morning on the 5-hour half day. Tomorrow could be really, really good, or I would imagine could be pretty above average, I would say. It's going to still be kind of murky. Tuesday, I think, is going to be really, really good. We're a few days behind that big front. The water should have had plenty of time to clear up, and those fish should be extremely hungry because they haven't eaten since Thursday. So looking forward to getting out there and crushing them tomorrow and Tuesday. And we got light loads on our half-day fishing trip. We got light loads on the 12-hour extreme trip. So plenty of availability to come out and go fishing for sure. So let's see what our next question is. I'm going out on the 10-hour trip Tuesday. What will we be targeting? Right now, our 10-hour trips are targeting red grouper, scamp grouper, lane snapper, vermilion snapper, hogfish. Really, our main goal right now are those hogfish, red grouper, mangrove snapper, lane snapper, and we're seeing a lot of the lanes specifically. The thing about red grouper versus hogfish on a 10-hour, though, is if we go deeper, we have a better chance at keeper red grouper. If we stay shallower, we have a better chance at keeper hogfish. And right now, you go deeper, we might catch a handful of red grouper. We stay shallower, we have a better chance of catching a couple handfuls of the hogfish. So lately, we've been fishing a little shallower and catching more hogfish than red grouper. You still have a chance for those red grouper, but we have been seeing more of the red grouper out deep on that 12-hour extreme trip for sure. What kind of jigging, actually, before we answer the next question, let's do another giveaway. We got the 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests coming at you now. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that 5-hour half day trip for 2 guests. Lucky winner is Chet Sladowski. Let's go with Sladowski. Congratulations, Chet. You got the 5-hour half day trip for 2 guests from Gainesville. Chet, you got 5 minutes or less to comment, or to, not comment. You got to text us at the phone number on the screen, your full home address. That's going to be how you claim the free trip. So make sure you text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen if you're picked as one of the lucky winners. Let's see who the next question is. What is the latest news on the sand issues? It's hard to talk about. Makes my stomach retch. I don't know what we're going to do, man. The sand issue is super frustrating. So we got the money for the dredging, and we're also excited about the money about the dredging. And yay, we got the money for the dredge, $1.55 million. Then they start talking to the county and trying to get this thing permitted. It's been going on and on and on. Like, I think it was August we got this money, early September we got this money. So it's been, I don't know, what's that? At least 3 months, 3.5, 4 months. And I heard, all right, they're going to start the dredge sometime early February, late January. Cool. Almost 6 months after the money came, we'll start the dredge. Know what I found out today? November 2024. November 2024 is what I heard it could be. And that was yesterday, actually. I was talking to someone. Essentially, it could be another 18 to 20 months for the dredge project to start. It is absolutely mind-numbing that it could take that long. So frustrating. And I honestly don't know what we're going to do about that because the sand is hugely, hugely affecting us at this point. So we're struggling. But Don's Dock has helped a lot. That's given us a lot more flexibility. But I don't want to lose our main location by the bridge. But the sand is definitely on the verge of forcing our hand over there. So we're definitely fighting for our lives, if you will, at our main dock. So not a good situation as far as the sand is concerned. So someone else asked if a Gulf perch or squirrelfish are good eating. They are very good. Very, very good. Those squirrelfish are extremely, extremely good eating. They're super white meat, And a lot of people talk about lake perch and how good lake perch is. In my opinion, a squirrelfish, also called a gulf perch or a sand perch, has exponentially better table fare than a lake perch. Extremely white meat. If I filleted up for you a hogfish, put it in a bag, and then I filleted up a few squirrelfish and put it in a bag, and they were all cut the same way, you would almost not be able to tell the difference. The only way you would be able to tell the difference is if you looked really closely. The hogfish flakes are going to be a little bigger because it's a bigger fish. So the consistency of a gulf perch is even better than a hogfish, and I think the meat looks as white, if not whiter, than a hogfish meat. They are smaller. You don't get really, really big gulf perch, but if you get a bunch of them, they make a killer meal. I mean, I think almost better fish tacos than the gray snapper. So highly recommend trying it. The squirrelfish make great grouper bait. Red snapper bait. They're one of my favorite live baits to use, but darn if they aren't good eating too. So really, really good eating fish if you haven't tried it yet. So let's see what other questions we have here. Ready for the show. You have another question? Let's see. Sorry for bringing it up. It's all good. The sand issue definitely is frustrating, but all good. I'm always glad to have you guys asking questions for sure. Let's see. What other questions do we have? It's all the questions? Wow. Remember, guys, if you have a question, you got to text in your question to the phone number on the screen. If you ask a question in the comments, I can't see it. It disappears really, really fast. So if you have a question, make sure you text it into the phone number on the screen. Since we're waiting for some more questions to come through, I will make sure I covered all of our events. We've got, let's see here. Ooh, I forgot to talk about our upcoming Bass Pro Shops seminar, January 22nd at 2 p.m. We're going to be at Bass Pro Shops. Hopefully you get a chance to come out and join us. January 22nd, we're going to be at Bass Pro Shops Sunday, 2 p.m., talking fishing, answering questions, giving away free trips, having a good time. So hopefully we'll see you Sunday, January 22nd, 2 p.m. at Tampa Bass Pro Shops. Also, January 27th, we've got our great Final Friday party, John's Pass Wide party from 6 to 9 p.m. Hopefully we'll see you for the John's Pass Final Friday party. If you haven't made one yet, you're missing out. This is a John's Pass Wide party event drawing. But at Hubbard's Marina, we do it big. We give away free crawfish, shrimp, sausage, and I want to give them to our guests, to our fishing friends, to our Off the Hook live show viewers like you. So come out and join us January 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. Besides that, we've got January 31st. We've got the Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation. If you want to come out and join us for that, I unfortunately won't be able to make it there because I will be at a golf council meeting at the end of this month, so I won't be able to make the Bartow Ford event, but we're excited. It's going to be a good time for sure. Captain Ryan Rickard is going to be there, and he is the man with the plan when it comes to a variety of different fish. Super, super popular tournament winning captain. So great guy to sit and chat with and ask questions. So join us January 31st at Bartow Ford for that event. The slow pitch jigging trips. We've got a lot of slow pitch jigging trips coming up this year. We've got a whole page dedicated to it. Josh is going to show you here real quick. Go to hubbardsmarina.com. Under fishing trips, scroll down to trips, and then at the bottom you'll see the slow pitch jig trips. The schedule is right here on that page for you of all the different dates coming up. Our first date of the year, January 17th, unfortunately, because of the weather, scared a lot of people off, so we had a lot of people cancel off. So we only had a few people ready for that slow pitch jigging trip, and then we had bad weather Wednesday. We had bad weather this past Sunday, so we kind of canceled everything and moved all the trips together this Tuesday. So Tuesday, the 17th, is not a slow pitch jigging trip. It's kind of a normal extreme trip, but we have some people that are scheduled to go slow pitch jig fishing. So kind of the front of the boat will be slow pitch jigging, back of the boat will be using bait, and hopefully we'll be catching a ton of fish for sure. So looking forward to it Tuesday. Great weather, light load, should be a good experience for sure. I think it's time to give away our Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Then we'll get to one more question before we wrap up the show. Let's see who won our Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Lucky winner is Tiffany Amber. Congratulations, Tiffany. Remember, with that Hubbard's Marina swag pack, you can get it mailed to you if you want. We'll mail you a hat, shirt, and a sticker, or you can come into the shop and pick up a hat, shirt, sticker, and we're going to give you some discounts to shop in the shop while you're here. So, Tiffany Amber, congratulations. Let us know if you want it mailed or if you want to stop by the shop and pick it up, and make sure you claim it by texting us your full home address within 5 minutes to prove you're watching live. So, let's see what our next question is. Any hot topics on the next Golf Council meeting agenda? So we actually got 2 important fishery meetings coming up right now. We've got the Golf Council meeting, which all of those are pretty important. They are definitely, there's 4 days of issues there, so we'll touch on that for sure. But FWC meeting coming up February 21st and 22nd. That is most likely going to be somewhere in Northeast Florida from what I've heard. And that is where they're going to be talking about this skyway bird issue and bird entanglement, and potentially putting a lot of skyway fishermen out of the fishery by mandating only 3 rods in possession, no double hook rigs, no treble hooks, and then also outlawing sabiki rigs as well. So not cool. Some pretty serious rules coming into effect. So make sure you pay attention to that FWC meeting coming up. As far as the Golf Council meeting, we went through the agenda and kind of line by line in our last supporters show. So if you're a supporter, make sure you check that out. We definitely covered it a little bit more in depth. We don't have a ton of time to rip through this agenda on our main show, but every Golf Council meeting, there's always some pretty hefty items. The big ones this time are about amberjack and gag grouper and kind of what's coming up with those. And I actually have to be at this one. I'm supposed to be talking to the council about our outreach and education plan, about trying to outreach to more people, about potential rule changes, trying to engage the public better and get more conversations started and more comments, because the Golf Council definitely wants to hear from you when they are proposing new rules or new regulations. So always like to try to make sure we do the best job to help engage fishermen and give fishermen a voice. And that's my job as part of Outreach and Education Technical Committee Chairman. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And then also amberjack, gag grouper, triggerfish is being discussed. So lots of different things. Coral, there's a sustainable fisheries, there's reef fish, then there's a lot of just data collection. They're finalizing something with our Seafire program. They're trying to make it a little easier for people. So lots of stuff in the works, plus a lot of people I got to go see and talk to. And we have a board meeting of our Charter Fishermen's Association. So I've got a lot going on at that fishery meeting for sure. It's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, end of this month. So I'll be flying up there Monday morning early so I don't miss the live show. So live show is on and popping. And it seems like we're going to finalize it in our supporters group because, again, I want to make sure the supporters are cool with it and the supporters are on board. So we have to double check with them. But it seems like we're going to be doing the live show at 7:30 p.m. Josh, didn't the supporters say yes? Wasn't the consensus yes?
For what?
For the 7:30 move? I thought it was. I forget though.
Yeah, they said 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And also, the vote tonight was 139 to like 12. So it was overwhelming, 7:30 p.m. for our next live show. So we are going to be starting January 22nd. We are going to go ahead and start at 7:30. So tonight was our last Off the Hook live stream show at 8:30 p.m. So next week, change your times, change your notifications, 7:30. And we are going to run a little late next week, so it'll probably be like an hour and a half show or something, just to make sure if anybody does show up late, they won't be super frustrated. They'll at least get some time to ask some questions themselves. So make sure you mark your calendars, change your reminders, set an alarm in your phone every Sunday night, 7:15 p.m., and join us for the 7:30 p.m. live stream show. So we'll see you next week, 7:30 p.m. But before we go, we got that 39-hour trip to give away. And I want to answer one last question I saw. How deep do you normally fish on 39 and 44-hour trips? We always fish around anywhere from about 120 to about 250 foot on the 12-hour extreme, 39 and 44-hour trips. They kind of fish the same areas. The 12-hour extreme trips do not have assigned seats. It's kind of the captain and crew kind of place people where they want to and where they need to based on the crowd and based on who's fishing with who. There's no assigned seats. There's not one spot better than any other on the boat. With that, don't forget to check out our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Good people over there at Gator Jim's. Great selection, killer deals, awesome people. So check them out, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. Also, thank you to all of those who sent stars tonight. Hugely supportive, and really does a lot to help fuel our show. So thank you so much to all of those who sent stars tonight and every Sunday night live stream show on Facebook. Then also a huge shout out to our supporters. Our supporters after show is going to start at 9:45. So if you're a supporter, join us at 9:45 for the supporters after show. Remember, it's only about $5. It's $4.99 a month. If you want to join the supporters after show, it's a good time. You get private access to our private supporters group where the supporters after show happens, plus a lot of behind the scenes stuff too. So join us. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. We'll see you January 22nd at 2 p.m. at Tampa Bass Pro Shops. We'll see you January 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. at our final Friday party. And let's see who won our 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. 39-hour trip for one. Let's see who won. April Willis. Congratulations, April. Remember, guys, we're changing that morning view. So on Facebook, we're still going to try to do our morning video on Facebook and YouTube, but the longer one, the more in-depth one, the real good sunrise view is going to be live on TikTok. So check out Hubbard's Marina live on TikTok every morning. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Trovo, Twitch, YouTube, Nextdoor, LinkedIn, everything, guys. Check out all our social medias. Make sure you give us a follow. Come out and see us go fishing. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the new website, the new layout. If you guys ever have any feedback, let us know. Always love to hear from you guys. Join us every final Friday for our big party. We're going to give you a bunch of free food and free drinks to thank you for being Hubbard's Marina guests and Hubbard's Marina fishing friends. We love you guys. We're so appreciative for all that you do for us, for our Hubbard's Marina family, for all our crew, captain, staff members, and thank you for making this possible. Y'all have a good night. tight lines. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.